G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Boy oh boy am I looking forward to this one, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Hill and Dale. We got a whole bunch of gold in this little dale down here. We got a couple players up on these hills, ladies and gentlemen, sporting in the north of the map in the color yellow, playing as the Malians. It's Beasty. And on the south side of the map, you'll be familiar with him. A one-trick pony, the Delhi Sultanate only, looking to play every single pro and take the crown upon them, upon their heads. Put it on his own, ladies and gentlemen, it is May. Welcome to Hill and Dale, a pleasure to have your company, and we are here in our trilogy because this is the final boss. May has taken scalp after scalp after scalp, and finally looks towards the very top of the ladder to see whether he can actually go up against the best of the best. We're talking about a tournament winner, a multiple tournament winner, one of the players considered by many to be the best in the world. And, well, it is a pleasure to be able to cast this game and bring this to you live through the power of the internet. I say live through the power of the internet, but it's not live. But it is through the power of the internet. I mean, I guess when you're watching this, it's live, but, I mean, it'll be a couple of days after I've actually casted it live. Anyway, I'm sure you know how internet works, how YouTube works. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. A pleasure to have your company. If you're enjoying this Age of Empires 4 content, then I encourage you to go ahead, leave a like. Really helps out the traction of the Age of Empires videos. So let's talk a little bit about this matchup and what our expectations are. So for the Delhi Sultanate, it's quite simple. We've talked about it before. The fact that they are quite a single-threaded civilization, don't really have multiple cores here for this civ. The idea is simple. We want to try and take the sacred sites in the early game. Normally we want to wall them in if possible, if we've got nice little nooks that we can potentially utilize here. And we want to try and use that gold to get up to the castle age. And then from there, we've got a couple of options. Normally what you see is players look to go into lances or go into keeps and try and finish off the opponent. But that is not how May plays the Delhi Sultanate. Instead, we've seen something quite different from May throughout these games. In fact, we've seen May go for a much more late game oriented build. A build that is focused around getting upgrades. A build that is focused around getting a lot of scholars to make sure that you can afford to get those upgrades. Not afford to get those upgrades, but that you can just get those upgrades in the late game a lot faster than what you normally do get. And we do see that there is no deviation from the standard here. May going to be dropping down the Dome of the Faith. Of course, the Tower of Victory, we haven't actually seen him place it down once. Now, I will say right now, apologies in advance if I call May she or her. I've said this in a couple of videos that we've posted with May in them, but the name May just naturally, to me, it sounds very feminine. So I was about to say she right then, but I managed to correct myself before I did it, but I just figured I'd shout you guys out. When it comes to Beasty, though, very masculine name. You know, if you were thinking about names for your child and, you know, it's going to be a boy, I reckon Beasty would probably be right up there. What other names? You know, I was thinking about names for my children, because I am thinking, I do occasionally think about having additional children. You know, 2 is not enough. So maybe we should get more in there. And often I'm thinking about, like, I love, like, the strong classical names, you know, like Nero. I'm just kidding. Can you imagine calling your son Nero, dude? That would be wild, man. If you don't know who Nero is, well, look, go look him up and just have a bit of a laugh. It's funny. We'll just ask ChatGPT to give you a nice little summary or something like that. He's quite a character. You probably wouldn't want to name your child after Nero. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about what we can expect from the side of Beasty. There's multiple ways that he can look to play for it as well, but I would suspect he's probably going to be going into a fast castle, probably into a Farimba garrison, but we'll have to see what the play is for him. We do see the mill coming down on the berries early on, so perhaps it's going to be cows instead that we witness. On the other side of the map, though, the age up comes through. Expect to see a stable drop down shortly from May. 7 vills on the wood, and you can see that now crossing that 150 threshold. Where is it? It's either... No, it's got to be a stable. There's no two ways about it. Actually, do you go a stable in this matchup? Maybe you don't. But either way, I feel like opening a stable is always going to be a smart call, right? There it is. There's the stable. Okay, so I kind of like the way that May plays. I feel like every single game, it's the exact same opening. But we do see now Sanctities coming through. 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go on that technology. So going to be coming in just after the 7-minute mark. Meanwhile, in the north of the map, Beasty's obviously aged up and Have a look at this. Professional Scouts. I tell you what, it's starting to take over the meta at the top level. We've seen multiple games where May has participated and Professional Scouts has come out strong. And I think this is such a smart move for Beasty to move into because the Delhi Sultanate is a civilization that you'll naturally look at it and say, okay, we're probably going to see some cav out here. So it means that taking advantage of deer is a little bit harder. But one thing that's interesting to note is that unlike most maps where you have 2 deer spawns that are a little bit far away from your base, on this map you've only got 1 because the other one is inside your base, and we can see that reflected in the back of the base here for May. May's got all of these deer nice and close together underneath the town center, basically underneath the town center. You can see it's very, very close. And the same goes for Beasty. So moving into Professional Scouts this early, it's a curious decision for Beasty, especially considering the lack of hunt out on this map. However, there are going to be some facts. Number 1, he's got access to the Warrior Scout, so he can look to go down that route if he so chose. Means a little bit more speed, a little bit more stats for the units that he's got. But I think the big thing is that he can look to deny the enemy hunt. We can actually see him beginning to move out onto this map. Obviously, he's already spotted out the deer here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we just see him shift-click up all of these deer and look to try and take them away. Give them some sort of sweet escape. Ghazi Raider now going to be coming through onto the other side of this wall. Not able to get up in time. Beautiful timing there for May. And now just camps on that wall, that little gap, and slowly sieges down that position. Of course, Beasty, you're going to be a little bit frustrated on the timing of that Ghazi Raider. It came out perfect timing. But speaking of timing, have a look at this. Sanctity, 13 seconds left. 1, 2, 3 scholars all sent out in their respective directions. One scholar heads back into the Dome of the Faith. He says, oh, you know what? I don't need that many scholars out here. I just need 3. There's only 3 sacred sites. And now the follow-up's going to start. Donzo coming out, completely outnumbered, though, by the Ghazi Raiders. And remember, you can always take this Ghazi Raider back, go get it healed up back at home, as long as it survives. And that's exactly what May is going to be doing here. Meanwhile, over on the other side of the map, we do see Beasty looking to deny away this hunt. So it essentially means that Beasty is going to be able to take 2 hunts from the map and make them safe. And of course, this hunt at the back here, he'll be able to bring this right underneath the town center. So it does increase his defensiveness a little bit more with it. It also reduces the risk, obviously, from the enemy raiding in, but efficiency is also increased in that regard. Donzo now going to be coming in. Second Donzo of the game. Beasty's got a couple more units back here. We've got the Javelin Thrower as well, and there's not going to be any focus on getting up to the castle age, at least at this stage. I think Beasty probably just going to be focused on just going for a little bit of a defense early on. Have a look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 military production facilities early on in this game for him. The Beast from the east now dropping down the blacksmith in the front of the base, continuing to rally out or get more production buildings towards this front side. 2 sacred sites taken. Third one about to come through, and May going to be taking an early lead in this game. Warrior Scout getting chased around. You can see it with 1.75 movement speed. Ghazi Raiders, of course, with the 1.88, so they are technically able to chase them down, especially once they've got a hold of the deer. They're a lot slower, and you can see Beasty dropping them down. 1.14 left on this, and all 3 sacred sites now going to be taken. We're right on board with Beasty as he goes up against the one-trick pony with a whole bunch of his own ponies as well at home, and see exactly what he sees. So inside the base, we do spot that he's got the Warrior Scout inside the enemy base. He wants to get a bit of an idea on what's going on, spots the double blacksmith back here and says, okay, that's quite an investment that we've got going on. Now we start to see some walls coming up. Looks like May's going to start walling in Beasty. Now keep in mind, the one-trick pony, on the ranked ladder, a one-trick pony is 100% a viable strategy, because at the end of the day, your opponent can't ban. I'm going to be very careful with YouTube and demonetization, and I want to emphasize that I have an Australian accent, and I'm saying can't. I'm not saying anything else. Yeah, I don't remember what I was originally going to say, but anyway, what was I talking about? I can't remember. Jeez, Drongo, stop it! You're gonna get yourself hurt. Oh yeah, that's right. One-trick ponies on the ladder. So you can't actually get your civilization banned on the ladder. But if May was to enter a tournament, May would need to play civilizations other than the Delhi Sultanate. That's of course unless I go ahead with my idea. I've had this idea probably for like a year now. I remember sketching this on a notepad when I was, I think I was traveling back from Germany, and I was doing a bit of a brainstorm about, you know, what kind of tournaments would I like to see. I've always been a really big fan of just playing one civilization. So I was thinking of hosting a tournament where I invite players to play only a single civilization. It would just be like a standard 1v1 tournament, but it would be only the one civilization that they'd get to play for the entire duration of the tournament. And that would not change. So there would be specific people who would get specific invites for specific civilizations. So as an example, you can imagine I would probably want to invite Marine Lord, and I would want to invite him to play the French. Because when I think of Marine Lord, that's what I think of. I think of him playing as the French. I don't know, maybe things have changed. Maybe he's not as much of a fan of it. But, you know, May, as an example, would be someone I would be thinking about the Delhi Sultanate. And another person I would think of the Delhi Sultanate would be somebody like Corvinus I, a really, really powerful Delhi Sultanate player. And just basically to show, you know, I guess it would just be kind of like a 1v1 format, except the maps would have to be balanced to favor some civs, but not, like, you'd probably want to just do ladder maps, I guess, like, with the exception of not Nagari. Can we not have Nagari in there? But Nagari's kind of fun. I mean, you see some fun games on Nagari, but it's a little bit hit or miss. You know, any water map is kind of boring, right? Like, you don't want to have a best of 5 and then it comes down to a game on Nagari. Like, yeah, I'm definitely not a fan. You know, I feel like that was definitely something that we learned from EGC, or in like doing the EGC tournaments. It's like the water maps just always felt a little bit weird. There are a couple of good ones in there. Like, don't get me wrong, I really liked Holy Island. I felt like that was great. There was a couple of other like kind of not run-of-the-mill maps, but yeah. Anyway, that was my idea. If you've got any suggestions for it, if you'd like to see it, let me know in the comments. And what you think we could do to improve it, because it would literally just be like a 1v1 where you get assigned a civ, or you get to pick a civ, and that's pretty much it. You represent that civilization. Anyway, men-at-arms in the middle. A handful of archers going to be helping out in the defense as May tries to go up against one of the greatest of all time here. Looking to snipe that crown off Beasty. He's already taken out multiple Conk 3 players at the top level, and now looks to take out another one as more men-at-arms come through. Not the best trade here for May. Beasty with a number of units still in the feudal age at the moment. Obviously, May's gone up to the castle age. We've missed quite a few events here. You can see Honed Blades is already about halfway completed, but the javelins doing a wonderful job at cutting through that armor. Keep in mind that your ranged armor is 4 for the men-at-arms. Javelins with a base of 8 attack mean that they're going to be doing 50% of their damage to those units. So feels really, really good to get that done. Now we can see towards this top side, it looks like Beasty may be heading out towards this position. We see warrior scouts making their way out. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, you did it. Warwick the Wolf gets another kill. Look at this guy. Look at this guy, Mr. Bitey Infantry. Kills 1. That's what it should say. It doesn't, though. How many kills would he get over the course of the game? Probably just 1. Until a whole bunch of villagers migrate over onto this stone outcropping and nobody notices, and Warwick picks up another 6 kills. That's when you know Gaia is truly against you. But the numbers here, looking pretty decent for Beasty. He's got a slight advantage on that count for military. Meanwhile, for villager count, let's have a look and see. So the cows are starting to come home to roost, even though I don't think those animals typically do roost. But we got ourselves another battle back down here to the south. Javelins managing to get some shots off towards the back. Trying to have a look at this. Really smart micro from May. Brings the archers all the way back, and as a result, the men-at-arms are able to start getting hits on the javelins. Really well done here from May. But keep in mind that Beasty's actually started to mix in some Muso Fadi. Of course, Muso Fadi notoriously good against men-at-arms. They do have that double damage bonus. It's not even double damage, it's more than double damage. It's a 10 bonus against heavy units. Only 8 damage done to normal units. But now sacred sites are starting to be neutralized. Interestingly, May didn't opt for walls down here. Nice and easy to wall this one in. We didn't see any walls over towards the middle here. And to be fair, I don't think May would have been able to hold the sacred sites realistically. He aged up quite early on in the feudal age. So he got up to the castle age pretty quickly. So I don't think he would have been able to hold. So definitely the right decision not to wall at this stage of the game. But have a look at this. The numbers. Javelins now teeing off on those archers. Beasty doing a decent job on the defense. Still maintaining strength in this feudal age. We'll switch it over to income per minute. Get a bit of an idea on where these two players are at in comparison to each other. So Beasty at the moment, he's really starting to push ahead. 2100, 2400. Somewhere in that region, 2400. Meanwhile, over for May, barely even hitting that 1600 mark. So Beasty with a huge economic advantage up against May, despite May having 5 relics in the bag. What is going on with Beasty? It's got to be all those cows. They have definitely roosted successfully in the base. And keep in mind, that's not even his final form. He's going for the big cow landmark. Meanwhile, over towards that east side, we got ourselves a little bit of villager on Donzo action. Beasty actually falls back and says, you know what? Those vills, they do kind of hurt. We do have the survival techniques. No, not survival techniques, Strongo. You'll get it. Textiles. I just had to look at the town center, and then I worked it out. Javelin's now going to try and focus down the scholars. He falls back away from that front line, realizing, hey, I don't want to lose my scholars. I don't want to lose these men-at-arms. And interestingly, not moving into lancers. Not yet, at least. We don't see any lancers out on the field. Now, he does have a stable, but for the most part, it's just going to be ranged units. So we see men-at-arms together with crossbows now going to be coming out on the field. Now, crossbows is an interesting one. Why is crossbows an interesting one? Because the only heavy armored unit that Beasty can make is quite literally the Sofa Warrior. And we haven't seen a single Sofa Warrior on the map yet. Until now. So, May with some very good foresight says, you know what, these eyes, they're 2020 Drongo, and I can see exactly what Beasty's planning across the map. Meanwhile, towards that south side, Beasty now going to start pushing on these berries. Looks like May might have to give up here. 5 units inside. I suspect they're probably villagers. Gonna need to do a runner, otherwise they're gonna get caught. Manages to get them out just before the damage gets done. Only loses the 1. Very nicely done from May. Tell you what, sometimes I'm a poet. I don't even know it. I don't even mean it. It just happens to, it just comes out. It just comes out of me. Now, speaking of coming out, have a look at this. We got orange juice today, ladies and gentlemen. Exciting. That's our drink of choice today. And Musofati, they were stealth. Talk about coming out, baby. Look at that. Coming out in the stealth. Looking to get some big swings on that front line. Baiting out all the men-at-arms. Well, I don't really mean baiting out. They're not baiting out. Have a look at these heels. Have a look at these heels. Keeping that men-at-arm alive right now. Singing the Bee Gees? Is it the Bee Gees who sing Staying Alive? It's got to be the Bee Gees, right? Anyway, we got some orange juice. We got some good stuff. Some of the stuff from Costco. And, yeah, I mean, Costco, I mean, it's you probably have different products in the States compared to what we've got in Australia. But the orange juice we've got at Costco in Australia is one of the best. And I'm like an OJ connoisseur. I love my orange juice. I can tell you, like, the best brands, the worst brands. But I'm a bit weird, okay? First and foremost, it needs to be actual juice. So none of that stuff that's like juice flavor. Like, you don't get that. That's not the good stuff, okay? You want actual juice. And then you want the stuff that's got pulp in it. Now, some people don't like pulp. I'm a big fan of pulp. For anybody who doesn't know what pulp is, it's like, you know when you crush the orange? I don't know, when you grind the when you turn the orange into juice, sometimes a little bit of that stuff of the orange gets through. I like that stuff. Some people don't. That's why they sell it with pulp free. Anyway, the stuff I've got, it's got pulp in it, and I love it. And I'm gonna take a sip right now, and then I'll give you a score out of 10. That's a 10. That's a 10. You guys know that video, right? The guy tasting the ice cream. If you don't know, just Google "that's a 10" ice cream video. You'll be pleased. Look at these Musofati in stealth, dude. Beasty is actually going ham with the stealth right now. He's got a huge amount of units. Castle H has obviously come through. Big Cow Landmark has arrived. But upgrades are starting to finalize now on the side of May. And I can't help but feel like Beasty is all over this game. It really feels like he is everywhere. He was behind enemy lines. He's been putting pressure over on berries. We've just seen him constantly harassing. And when it comes to the economies, let's compare the pair. Let's see how the two do. So, Beasty now, 1,250. Or we'll call it 1,300, 1,600. We'll call it 1,700. Look at that. You know what? Give it a minute. That's rising quickly. That's rising very quickly. And I suspect that might be to do with the big cows and the landmarks that are there. 1,500. Okay, we'll call it 1,500. No, never mind. It's still going up. Oh, jeez. Look at it. It's not stopping, man. In the region of 1,500. We'll call it, all right, 1,550. So 2K, 2.9K, 3K. We'll call it 3K for Beasty. On the side of May, you're looking at about 2.4, 2.5K. So Beasty with a slight economic advantage, despite the 5 relics in favor of May. There are a few villagers in favor of Beasty. Obviously, he's taken out quite a few, and it looks like he's probably going to take out a couple more. Outpost has been fortified. He's going to try and get the springlet emplacement through on the second one. No fortification yet on this, so it's going to be burning down very quickly, and right as the emplacement comes, very well cancelled there by May. All the vills going to get taken out in this situation as well. Meanwhile, towards that top side, men-at-arms, together with crossbows, now going to start making their way out onto the field. What is going on up here? Because May May's just completely abandoned this position over in the west. 10 vills out here, and look at this. Smart move by Beasty. Instead of going after these 5 villages that are inside, he says, you know what? It's not worth my time. It's not worth my effort. I'm going to put my focus back towards this location. But the economy continues to build in favor of the Beast. He's looking strong in this game early on up against May, but keep in mind throughout this series, we've seen the one-trick pony take on multiple players, and I felt like each game, the one-trick pony did look down and out at multiple points, and yet still found a way back into the game. So will May be able to ride his way back into this game? That's what we're going to have to wait and see, because he's started taking scalps, and he's not finished with his collection just yet. Meanwhile, we do see the Pikes upgrade now coming through. I don't know whether it's called Pikes or Pakes, but I'm going to go with... Let's go with Pakes. 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 Like pancakes. Pakes. Like cakes. It's basically cakes, but with pancakes. Look how fast these units go. Are they even running? Oh, they're running. 2.25 movement speed. Oh, they're running. They are marching very fast and very forcibly. What is going on here with May, though? May's trying to bait him into position. Oh, May's baiting him into position. Look at this. Ladies and gentlemen, we are witnessing a master of the bait slowly getting her opponent, or his opponent rather, into position. Sorry, I told you I'd do it. I told you I would do it. Scholars have been brought all the way back here. You can see that he wants to keep them alive. Crossbow's being forced out of it, but the men-at-arms going to be looking to try and frontline here. Incredibly well done. The crossbows continue to work down this back line. Remember that the javelin throwers have got quite a bit of ranged armor on them, and more units coming in now for May. Just when things were looking good for the Beast from the east, look at the cleanup from May now. Beasty needs to get away with these troops. If he loses these troops, things are going to go from bad to worse quickly. Meanwhile, on the east gold mine, look at what's happened. May has cleaned it up completely. No presence of Beasty buildings anywhere. They've all been taken out with the exception of this one house, which is about to be taken out by the battering ram. That's our little apostrophe? No, asterisk. Asterisk. That's it. Shift 8. That's what I wanted to say. A shift 8. Anyway, men-at-arms gonna clean up these javelin throwers. Beautifully assigned amount as well, like just enough to deal with it. Not too many, just more than enough. And you know, you can lose 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. You don't mind it. But the main thing is that you're gonna be able to clean this up. And of course, gonna have no trouble there. Now crossbow numbers as the Musofati make their way into the base. Beasty gonna be very comfortable inside the base here. Wants to try and make as much of a mess as he can. Treat it like his own home. Will May let him? That's going to be the question. There's no stealth involved. Local knowledge? Heals for 5 health with every attack after leaving stealth for 5 seconds. There you go. Local knowledge. Musofati now. Taking on villagers, and the villagers don't care. The villagers say, you want to fight? I don't even mind. Let's go for it. We've got our textiles upgrade, and they just get completely eliminated. And May demonstrating his strength in the defense. And I tell you what, I'm going to be honest. I know there's not a lot of people that are a fan of the Delhi Sultanate, but I suspect there's going to be a lot of people that are a fan of May. The games that we have casted from May have been incredible. Every single game has been action-packed the entire way through. And this game is no exception. Beasty has put up a great fight so far, but I fear things may be coming to a close. Look at the army that May has currently got. 34 crossbows, 26 men-at-arms, and the battering rams are building. Beasty in the north with only 24 Musofati, but oh, the double keep defense from Beasty. I suspect you're probably going to need more battering rams than that if you want to knock these bad boys down. Plenty of scholars out as well, up to 16 scholars now for May. Literally every upgrade is through. Have a look at this. Every single upgrade you can get, he's got. And so what does he do? He just brings the scholars out. Hey, guys, you know what? It's time. You've done enough here for the moment. Let's get out there. Let's get onto the field. You can actually see those scholars literally just got deposited, got deleted, no. Deposed, no. Delayed, denied, defended, deposed. What's the word when they ejected? Ungarrisoned. That doesn't feel like a word. Ungarrisoned. Yeah. No, not my kind of word. Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, that's right. Huge army from May. Absolutely massive. Look at this. 91 versus 62 at the top there. Slightly behind on the economy. You can see right now, numbers-wise, we're looking at about 3.5k for Beasty on the side of May. Looking for about 3.1k, 3.2k. So pretty decent, actually. Like, has closed in. But now I'm going to be making a striking attempt on this keep. 11 units on the inside. Battering Ram's going to be trying their best. Beautiful little hold around the corner, but the poison arrows are now through for Beasty. He manages to get some decent shots off. Mangonelli's here as well. The split's coming in. Scholars on the front line going to be healing up all the poison arrows. Battering Rams taking down this keep. And May is looking to take out one of the best in the business right now. You are seeing a one-trick pony go all the way, ladies and gentlemen. It is happening right here, right now, underneath this keep as it continues to go down. Villagers now going to be repairing at breakneck speed. More and more units continue to come out, and Beasty's got insufficient stone. You hate to see it, and now that keep is going to be falling. May, somehow, some way is doing it. More units being rallied in towards this position. Reinforcements are on the way. More production being thrown down on the back line. Economy still moving fast and forward, but the numbers looking good for Beasty all of a sudden, even though at the top, it doesn't look like May's doing all right, or it looks like May's only breaking even. Beasty looks like he's ahead. And I suspect that's just because he's got the reinforcements so much closer. May's got to run all the way across the map, whereas Beasty's home, that's where his reinforcements are. And now we see those vills being pulled. Going to be able to take out the battering rams. May being forced out. Only takes out the one keep. And you really got to ask the question, was it worth it? I don't know if it was worth it. I don't know if it was worth it. I'm going to be honest. I think it might actually not have been worth it. Which is kind of wild when you think about it. Because that was Beasty definitely felt like he was not in a good position there, but managed to find a way through. And I don't know how much the Mangonel was pivotal in that situation, because there was only the one at the time, but things are starting to evolve. Beasty's now moved into a third Mangonel. And you know what that calls for? That calls for a drink of orange juice. Give me a sec here. That is good. It's good orange juice. You know, the one thing I will say about pulp is if you've got an orange juice with pulp, you need to shake it. You got to shake it before you serve it. Because the problem that I've got is, like, we got a 4-liter jug. And as you get down to, like, the last liter, all the pulp is just sitting down there waiting for you. And, look, pulp is good in moderation. Otherwise, you might as well just start eating oranges. Like, realistically, it gets pretty brutal. Nice little wall out we've seen here from May. Just going to be stopping these Musofati from coming through. Very well done. But I suspect in the end, these men-at-arms may be facing the same fate, irrespective of the cute little walls here. Beasty going to be, have a look at this, looking around. He actually sees everything. He also sees in this area that there is a men-at-arms standing very intently. Multiple men-at-arms standing very intently. Men-at-arms move to the other side. Very, very cute attempt or cute play by May here. So where does May go from here? And it looks like the answer is actually going to be Imperial Age. More walls coming up. Look at what May is doing right now, walling everything off. We're just playing connect the dots at this point. Meanwhile, towards the north, I think the battering ram got cancelled. Men-at-arms sprint away at 2.25 movement speed. They, of course, use their forced march ability. Look how fast they go. They're so silly. They're so silly. But really great use of Delhi and all of its abilities. So now that May is about to hit the Imperial Age, he's got 11 scholars. The number continues to rise, and remember the first madrasa that he drops, that will go from 11 up to 14, because you get 3 free scholars with that first madrasa. But the Palace of the Sultan is also going to be a utilization of those scholars. So you'll be putting 4 scholars into the Palace of the Sultan the moment that you age up, because it gives you great value. But I'd love to see some of these scholars move out from the production buildings, because realistically, at this stage of the game, you just don't need it. It makes sense to have it in like a siege workshop or something like that, but other than that, you don't really need it in these production buildings. You can just make more production buildings this late in the game. But Fort of the Huntress now going to be coming through from Beasty as well. Have a look at this. The timing on these Imperial Ages are very, very similar, so both players appreciating that, you know what, maybe we've both got a little bit of space here to get up and have a look at these upgrades. Look at these upgrades. Let's run through them just quickly. Precision crossbreeding, cupellation, crosscut saw, plate cutter point, elite archers, angled surfaces, veteran spears. Of course, you want to try and get your veteran spears before you get your elite spears. Elite man-at-arms, howders, they're just the techs that we've got for the moment. But I suspect there's probably going to be about 1,000 more that start to come through as the madrasas begin to rise. We haven't seen... There's the madrasa. I was about to say we haven't seen any madrasas yet, but there it is. First madrasa. We've got unique upgrades. Well, not unique, but, you know, silk bowstrings is one that we're going to be looking to pick up quite early because we can pair it up with pakes, which is going to significantly increase the range of our archers, going from 5.5 up to 7 range, which is pretty good. Pretty damn good. 7 range is a lot. But Beasty now in the east of the map, looking to try and secure up this gold. You can see he's out here looking to try and confirm as much as he can. Have a look at this. Beasty, tell me what you want, what you really, really want, and why is it adjustable crossbars? You know that's what he's asking for Christmas right now. He said to Whammon, look, I'll be honest with you. I don't want much for Christmas. All I want for Christmas is you and adjustable crossbars. It's expensive though. It's 2,200 resources. That's a lot. That is a lot of resources. All right. Well, over towards that east side, the slow siege becomes. Outpost is going to go down, but I suspect it might not be enough. You might need to get some repairs in on these walls with some units heading in that direction. Second madrasa going to be dropped down as well here for May. A significant investment. Keep in mind the madrasas are expensive, 450 wood. But with this many Musofatis, these are elite Musofatis, we may potentially see Beasty pull out a bit of a crackety here strategy. This was a classic that Crackety here loved to throw around. Basically, you just go mass elite Musofati, and there's really nothing your opponent can do about it. They're kind of crazy because once you start getting the upgrades on them, they just literally beat everything. Now, of course, that was before silk bowstrings, so perhaps things have changed. But it's something that you need to be very cautious of when you're fighting against the Malians. All right, well, let's check in with Beasty and see how he's doing. He's got a couple of clusters of units on the mini-map. Vils over on the gold, Vils on the wood, and of course a whole bunch of units just chilling at the moment. It looks like he's starting to move into Musofati gunners as well. The Fort of the Huntress going to be providing that lovely buff, so the Musofati warriors and gunners get first strike, which deals more damage when breaking stealth with an attack. Which, I mean, it's okay. It's definitely good for the Musofatis. The gunners not so much, because they already do so much damage in the first place, and they're always just going to be overkilling things. So it's like, now, congratulations, now you're just overkilling even more than what you were before. But now, the elephant numbers have begun to... Oh my, look how many elephants are out now for May. Now, Beasty's at 182 population. May's at 174. So things are really starting to get towards that late game stage. A lot of resources in the bank here for Beasty as well. Adjustable crossbars is coming through. Also see precision crossbreeding, decarbonization on the way. Meanwhile, we also see elite army tactics, armored beast, tithe barns coming through. What else have we got here? We got a couple of armor upgrades as well. And now moving out the tower elephant, you can see all the poison that it's got on it. It's going to try and deal damage out to all these javelin throwers. Javelin throwers still yet to be upgraded to veterancy. Mangonels. Now, one thing to note with the mangonels is the mangonels have been nerfed from where they used to be in the Castle Age, but been buffed from where they used to be in the Imperial Age. Which, if anything, gives an advantage to Beasty here, because he's the one who's got the mangonels. Though, if there's one thing to be said, it's that elephants do pretty well against mangonels. One thing that they have a little bit more trouble with are cannons, which actually get bonus damage against elephants now, which is, I think, the first unit in history that's gotten a bonus damage against elephants. Specifically, elephants. So, F you elephants in particular. Well, the Delhi Sultanate. And I guess also maybe the Byzantines. But that's pretty much it. All right, well. The march continues. Making their way forward. This is a lot of units. Beasty, I just saw the military. Look at the military chart. Beasty's in trouble. Beasty's in real trouble right now. May is looking to go all in against Beasty here. A huge line of scholars make their way across the field as well. He's got 24 in the bank. He's going to look to try and heal all the... Oh my god, the backline dies immediately. It wasn't even close. It was evaporation. Beasty with 21. CG Cutie is reforming, ladies and gentlemen, but the elephants are trying to stop it. They do not want CG Cutie to assemble because they know the reality. If CG Cutie assembles, well, it's just like Yu-Gi-Oh! You lose the game if CG Cutie assembles. It's an instant win for Beasty, if that is the case. We're starting to see spyglass coming through, boiling oil on the way as well. And the defense is good for Beasty. I'm going to be honest. I don't know where all that military went or was. May, on the charts at the top, said that he had like a huge amount, but then it all just died. I guess it was the mangonels. I'm not 100%, but we witnessed like 15 units immediately die. Anyway, the final boss, he's kind of scary. CG Cutie is slowly assembling. 4 mangoes, 2 bombards now. Do we even see more siege coming out? I wouldn't be surprised if we do, but he's on 195 pop already. So you're kind of pushing the limits of what you've got. We start to see veteran archers getting produced in mass as well here. Speaking of archers, elite archers now coming out for May. 5.5 tiles of range. Still yet to see that upgrade in the Imperial Age. At the Madrasa, you can see a whole bunch of them are in queue. Going to be looking for silk bowstrings next. Of course, none of these scholars are actually locked away inside the Madrasa. So you've got 5 that are just standing here. These are not buffing up the speed at which you're researching these technologies. So it's going to be taking a really long time. 5 minutes for greased axles to come through. All these scholars that are out here healing up the troops. These are also not counting towards that reduction speed. The battering rams now working towards the main base of May. Beasty looking to open up a new front. If the stone wall falls, this could be real trouble here for May. And indeed it falls. Huge amount of stone going down, rolling down that hill. You can see them, all the pieces of stone. Archers make their way back, but the villagers are going to have to make a run for it. There's no way. Now, I think he can garrison inside the houses, can't he? Yeah, he's got 5 garrison space inside each of these houses. So you don't even need to make outposts at the back here. So jump inside the outpost, keep those vills alive. That's exactly what May does. He does what he needs to survive. More units make their way through, and keep in mind the Beastie can actually stealth back here. But once again, May's going to need to make his way towards those houses. Meanwhile, towards the front, more units going to start eking their way forward. Mangonel's going to be coming out for May. Adjustable crossbars on the way. Musafati gunners in stealth, and they're going to pop out of stealth. Have a look at that. It's the ultimate counter to what May has got, because remember we were talking about the fact that these Musafati overkill a lot of the units. They get that bonus 41 damage, so now they're overkilling more. Well, guess what? They don't overkill. They don't overkill elephants. Elephants have got 780 health. They ain't going to be overkilling them at all, my friends. Have we got biology yet? I'd have to double check. Let me have a look here. No, we don't have biology yet, and that's going to increase the cavalry health even further. And of course, your elephants are technically cavalry, so that is going to include them. Well, May is playing in orange, and I've got orange juice, so I think that's a great timing for me to take a sip of orange juice. Give me a sec here, folks. That was a beautiful segue, Drongo. Good job. Thank you. That is a 10. That is a 10 out of 10 for how much pulp is in that drink. I'm starting to regret the pulp decision. Jeez, it's barely even been half a video, and I'm already regretting my pulp decision. Oh, man. All right, well, Archer v. Archer. Elite archers have come through for Beastie. May's also got the elite archers. No, whatchamacallit upgrade yet? Whatchamacallit, incendiary arrows? Or am I just blind? Maybe I'm just blind. I think I'm just blind. Let me go look at these units again and see if they're firing fire. Yeah, they're firing fire. I'm fine, I'm fine. Don't worry. So 8+5 versus 8+5. I didn't realize incendiary arrows comes out to the same as just normal archers, plus these archers get poisoned arrows. So, hold on. These archers are by far better then, right? I mean, objectively, you do get the extra range, but it's only 0.5. I think you'd still just prefer the poison, surely, right? The poison's got to be better than that extra little bit of range. I guess it also depends on the numbers, right? Like, if you've got 1,000 archers, I feel like the range is probably better. Whereas if you've got 100... I don't know. I mean, are you ever going to have 1,000 archers? Probably not. So why does it matter? Well, range demonstrating right there that it seemed to do quite well. Maybe range is the right. Maybe range is the stat that you want, not poison. I guess they're firing pretty quickly anyway, so maybe poison doesn't really matter that much. Army for May looking... Hold on. Hold on. Oh my god, Beastie Cutie is actually assembling into CG Cutie. Look at the amount of siege he's got, dude. Seven bombards, 5 mangoes. Now the bombos do 50 damage and an extra 50 to elephant. So 100 damage in total, which means the bombos are going to need 8 shots to kill an elephant. And he's got 7 of them at the moment. So you almost one-shot the elephants with the bombos. Mangoes, mangoes, mangoes gonna be moving up. They've got their adjustable crossbars through, I suspect. Let's double check before we, yep, there we go. May making a huge mistake there. So what did May need to do? May needed to move up into distance so all mangoes could fire at the same time, instead of doing what she did, or doing what he did. So you see right there, that was the right thing to do. Instead of right-clicking on the units and letting them come up one by one, you want to actually have them all fire at the same time. That way you get guaranteed hits on them. They don't go searching to get into spots, and you don't stagger your attack. So you don't really, or so you take your opponent by surprise. That's essentially it. But now turning around, we need to see more units towards this. Mango shots towards the back. Beautiful shots coming through from May. Beasty as well, going to be trying his best to take all these units out. But look at the siege on that top side. CG Cutie is assembling. The question's going to be about whether May is going to be able to disassemble him. Have a look at this. Oh, wow. Yeah, he's disassembling, okay. Beasty in trouble. Beasty, this is a lot of elephants. This is a lot of elephants right now. Continuing to crawl towards the base. What's the speed difference? 0.86? 0.96. It's barely there. But May technically is faster. The trouble is that once you start getting in around this point, it's really hard to path in through here. So it's easy for Beasty to path in here, but it's very hard for May to path in here because Beasty can block this all off. And that's a big consideration when you're pushing into something like this. But we'll check in and see how Beasty's doing. In fact, let's compare the pair. We haven't really talked too much about economies at this stage of the game. So, oh my lord, 3,000 wood a minute. So we're talking 4,800 resources here, 5,400 resources coming through for Beasty every minute. Compared over to May, and you're looking at 2,400, 1,600, so about 4K resources a minute. So a bit of an economic difference between these two, but obviously May's got the advantage with regard to gold because all of that gold is going to be funneled into units in the late game. May doesn't have to spend any gold on upgrades. They're all coming through for free. Now, of course, May needs to pay for the scholars, but relatively speaking, it's not a whole lot because you've got access to the Dome of the Faith, produces scholars for cheaper, and of course, you've also got those 5 relics that are pumping overtime at the moment. We can see 5 of them in the bank, bugging out those vills. Oh, Beasty on the wrong side of the wall, kinda. Wow, look at the amount of warrior scouts that are in here. The zeal coming through. Look how bright these elephants are shining. Why are they so bright? Their future. Somebody put the sunglasses on, I can't see. That's how bright their futures are. Mango's caught out in a weird spot though. On the other side of the wall, Bill's gonna be coming through as well. Elephants chasing away all of the bombards, and I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, you gotta watch out for May. May is coming for your crowns. So you better lock your jewels up. Big mango shots on the back. More warrior scouts now. Beasty trying his best to complement the cutie that he is with siege. Mango shots randomly just don't go off. Did you guys see that? Whole bunch of mangoes looking like they wanted to shoot, but no shots and no damage. Interesting decision from the mangoes. And all of a sudden, it feels like May doesn't have any response to all of these warrior scouts. Beasty's just kicked it into gear. Have a look at the amount of production. Oh my lord, look at the production he's got back here. That's why he's gathering so much bloody wood. He's got 6,000 in the bank because he needs more production for more scouts. And he can transition over to farms eventually if he wants to. He can just make 100% scouts, and that's what he's going to do. Look at this. We see 100% more farms coming through right now. It's like a new product line that Beasty's launching. It's the 100% farm strategy. We did talk about how farms are kind of overpowered and they got nerfed, but maybe not for the Malians. Anyway, the mango numbers are getting crazy. I'm going to be honest, I don't see how Beasty wins this. Look at the army from May. May is up double the army of Beasty right now. Look at this at the top of your screen. Beasty's in trouble. He's in big boy trouble right now. Over on the east side of the map, Beasty's stealing away some of the wood. But that, oh, I don't know. He's got a lot of vills out here. 126 vills in the bank, continuing to lose out on that military. 43 minutes into this game. May is coming for the crown. The one-trick pony. Up against one of the best that has ever existed in Age of Empires 4. One of the best we have ever seen. One of the most fierce competitors on and off the ladder. On and off the land. How would you even say that? In and out of the land. I wish we had more lands, man. Lands are so cool. They're so much fun. It's just so cool to chill with the boys and the girls. But especially the boys. But also the girl. Sorry. Anyway, you guys get the idea. I'm trying to be inclusive. Because the girls are cool as well. But look at those mango shots, dude. Mangoes are perfectly fine. Don't worry, guys. They're not going to get nerfed at all. Oh, there's so much fun in the late game now. Beasty with 10 bombards, though. He's role-playing as the Zhu C Legacy. Decided to switch civs in Imperial Age, apparently. Whole bunch of cav out for him. Mango's getting some decent shots off on the way. Look at the scholars go. The scholars are like, come over here. Let me heal you a little bit. Mango shots from the right of the screen. Scouts run through. He's trying to make a decent connection here. Whether he's going to be able to find it or whether it's going to be missed, we'll have to wait and see for Craigslist to come through. But at the moment, it looks like it is going to hit. May losing out a lot of the siege on the backline. Beastie suddenly trying to find a way back through on that military count. 171 pop, 2,800 food a minute. Spamming out as many units as he can. He's got warrior monks. He's got Sofa warriors. Those are warrior scouts. He's got warrior scouts that are out. Didn't we saw a Sofa earlier in the game, right? Like that wasn't a warrior scout. That was a Sofa. I'm pretty sure. And the legend of CG Cutie continues. He's not dead, at least not yet. The crown remains on his head for the moment. As May, 45 minutes into this game, says, oh, this Beastie guy's kind of good. I've tried twice to take him out, and twice I've been repelled. There were two significant moments. I feel like the first one was the taking out of this keep, or at least the keep that was originally placed here. And that was the second one. That was a massive push from May. And once again, it gets taken out. So where does Beastie go from here? We see a little bit of... Let's check in with May and see how he's doing. So at this stage of the game, May's got decent control over resources. Everything that he wants, he's got access to. The big thing's going to be wood, though. And you can see Beastie's struggling with wood. And I think if May realized this, it could be a different game here. Because May's got no clue at all. Obviously, he knows that Beastie's roughly in this area. There's a keep over here. You know, we know he's over here, but I feel like May could easily have denied this. And May's got great control on the south. Now, granted, Beastie could probably regain control of this if he lost over on this eastern side, but, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, we can see this because we've got, oh my lord, it's happening. He's assembling it. It's happening. CG Cutie is back online. This is concerning for May. The one-trick pony could be going to his last rodeo. I know there's a lot of May fans watching right now, and your heart's got to go out to them. A whole lot of Ghazi Raiders, fully upgraded, as they begin the charge through towards the bombards. Sofa warriors finally coming out. The elite Sofa on the front lines, going to be trying to provide that barrier. A keep as well. Ville's in the back. Is he going to go for a repair here? Maybe look to try and block. It's going to be a block. The keep comes up in time. Ghazi Raiders trying to make a connection onto all this siege. CG Cutie. He needs to take out CG Cutie immediately. You cannot let this bombard mass remain. And all the Ghazi Raiders have now got to deal with these damn bloody villagers. Mango's still firing off. Plenty of units on the backside. Men at arms here as well. And the bombard number still remains high. 6 bombards. 4 Beastie. How much gold does he have access to reasonably here? Is this it? I think this might be the last gold that he's got access to. There's no other gold on the north side of the map. Now, this is not contested, at least not at the moment. But once May spots those villagers, I suspect it's just going to be a case of, hey, that's not your gold, mate. That is my gold. Get off my gold. Stables in the bottom side of the map. The scout. See, this is where I wish we had the kill count. I just wish we had the kill count. I was telling you guys earlier about how the wolves, they kill villagers. And you don't realize because it's 48 minutes into the game and you got other things on your mind other than that annoying sound and that constant reminder that, hey, you're under attack by a wolf down here. You might want to deal with it. Meanwhile, this guy's got 17 villager kills here. All right, Mango shots. Decent on the front line. Bombard's going to be moving up. Beastie now with 5 bombards on the front. Mango shots towards all the Musafari. able to take them out, but at the same time, the Sofa make a connection on the back. The Mangoes, beautiful control comes through, hits the Musafati once again, trying to trade out the Bombards on Bombard action. 49 minutes into this game, and Beasty suddenly takes the lead when it comes to the military pop, continuing to force down the middle, and we hear the Warwick Wolf going once again, but finally the Ghazi Raider says, get out here, I'm sick of dealing with you, shut up, and he gets eaten alive. Meanwhile, on the defensive, May, somehow elite bowstrings, silk bowstrings finally coming through with 15 seconds remaining, a little bit shy of the 49 minute mark, or a little bit after the 49-minute mark. And slowly but steadily, May is clawing back into this game. When it comes to resource count, Beasty has got 7,900 wood in the bank. He's doing a bit of a drongo at the moment. 3,400 for May. Meanwhile, they are completely eviscerated on the other resource counts. They are struggling to keep their heads above water, both of them here. It's really coming down to the wire. And now these last mangonels, these are expensive losses. You can't lose these, and fortunately, May doesn't. The Elephant's going to try and defend. Needs to get repairs onto these mangonels immediately. One of them goes down. Second one goes down. Third one might go down here. If the mangonel goes down, there's a huge amount of infantry that makes its way into the base, and there's nothing here to stop them. All of the units going to be eliminated. You can see May's down to 141. Beasty on 200 pop. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this is it. I think this is it. He's reached critical mass. He has reached peak CGQT. And unfortunately, today, I don't see any way that May is going to take... I'm sorry, I can't keep doing it. I can't see any way that May does it here. I can't. How does May get back into it? The Vil count has started to decrease. Multiple raids on multiple fronts. Beasty pushing. Triple Mangonel comes out. May could look to try and turn the tides, but how do you deal with the Bombards? They've got the range advantage. Mango's going to fire off down the hill. Bombards should just fall back and return fire after. There's the return fire as it comes through. Mangoes on the range units at the back. May still holding on. 51 minutes into the game as the Mangoes come up for a kiss. But unfortunately, they're not sprinkled, so it's not allowed. It is not allowed. It is not permitted. More units make their way towards the south side, and Beasty opens up those additional fronts. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen, with an incredible 52-minute game. Beasty takes his win against May, one of the best one-trick ponies you will ever see. This is incredible stuff. Honestly, these games from May have been incredible. Anyway, folks, go check out Beasty. Link in the description. I'm sure you know where to find him anyway. And what a bloody game.